Hi there. Welcome to Taxonomies. My name is Brad Rourke, and it's been a while since I've talked to you because I've been exploring the internet trying to get a handle on all of the social networking sites that are available. Now, if you're like me, and I know that a lot of you viewers are, you're of a certain age, which means that I'm not a digital native. I'm an outsider to the digital world, and while I love it, it's not ingrained in my DNA the way it is with my 12-year-old daughter or kids in high school. So I've been experimenting with social networking sites. Now I've been experimenting with a few for a while, and I'm just going to go through them, and I'll end with my favorite. And this isn't in any particular order, but I will start with the biggest and the baddest, and that's MySpace. Social networking started with Friendster, I think. But Friendster is a mere shadow of its former self, if it even exists anymore. MySpace is what put social networking on the map. Now, it is owned by the News Corporation, which doesn't bother me, but it might bother you. But the thing about MySpace that's interesting is that it's just massive. They've got something like 30 million users, which means there's a critical mass of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's bands that you can check out. There's TV shows that are released just on MySpace. There's books, and of course there's friends. What MySpace also has is a lot of spam, a lot of people trying to hook up. In fact, in a way, MySpace is sort of like a singles bar. And if you like that environment, and it has something to offer, and it has something to recommend it's not a bad place. It can be a little clunky in terms of its operations, which they're improving every day. And it has one thing that a lot of other social network sites don't have, which I really like about it, and that is MySpace is very well suited to bands. It's a place where you can find out about bands. Most bands have a MySpace page. In fact, most people would rather go to a band's MySpace page than to their main website. You know, like My Chemical Romance will release their tour information on MySpace before they release it on their main website. So, if you're in a band or if you're into music, MySpace is the place to be. Just, it is a little bit like the Wild West, and you're going to have to wade through a few through spam friend requests. Now, at the other end of the spectrum is something called LinkedIn. I've been getting a lot of traffic from people who have joined LinkedIn. They're business acquaintances of mine, and they want to add me to their network, which is the LinkedIn terminology for friending me. Now, that's fine, and I've set up a LinkedIn profile, and I'm mostly saying yes to those requests. But the thing about LinkedIn is that it seems a lot like going to a Chamber of Commerce breakfast where there's a networking period, which is to say, I can't really see a purpose in doing it other than the networking. With MySpace, at least, I might go and check out a new band and listen to their music, or I might read someone's blog or share a joke with someone. With LinkedIn, it's really there to facilitate my business connections. And if you're into that, that seems to be a really good thing, a good place to be. If you're not into it, or if it doesn't offer much for you, you might want to take a pass on it. Another one that you ought to make a profile on, but then just leave it dormant, is something called Rourke, which I've been watching for more than a year now, but it's owned by Google, which should imply that it's going to turn into something cool. However, it's been dormant. I've had a profile on there for, like I say, over a year. No one has asked to be my friend. I just sent out a couple of friend requests, so now I think I have 2, which isn't very many. I do expect good things from Rourke because it's Google, but nothing's happened yet. A social networking site that's good for the 40 and up crowd, which is me, is called Gather.com. It's really sort of billed as a MySpace without the kids, and one of the good things that Gather has to recommend it is that there's a whole lot of artwork going on. There's poetry, there's writing people, there's writing groups that are that are posted on Gather, and there's a very collegial, sort of kind vibe going on at Gather. So if you're the kind of person who's a writer who is looking for a support group, I highly recommend Gather.com. Finally, though, I'm going to end with what at the moment is the be-all and end-all of social networking sites, and it's trite to say, but it's Facebook. Now, if you're my age, again, 40-ish, I highly, highly recommend you set up a Facebook. The feel of Facebook is sort of like you're visiting the undergrad library before finals week. It's busy, it's a hive of activity, there's people talking, but it tends to seem like it's for a purpose. Part of that's because Facebook has a legacy of being closed. You had to have a school email in order to join, which was designed to keep the riffraff out in a way and keep the network size manageable. They've opened it to everyone, but it's got this vibe to it that I highly recommend. It's a great way to do what LinkedIn tries to do, which is to connect with other people. And of course, it has the thing that the news has been all about lately, which is it's opened itself up so that people can write applications for Facebook. And there's some hilarious ones and useful ones. I can, instead of friending people, I can now enemy people on Facebook, which is quite exciting. And I've enemied my good friend Sean O'Brien because, well, he shot my dog. That's a joke. He didn't really do that. It's just part of the vibe of Facebook. It's all a bit tongue-in-cheek, and there are some people on there who are just looking to hook up. But if you can wade through a little bit of that, Facebook is the place to be. And more and more people in the business world are just setting up Facebook profiles and interacting that way instead of email, instead of IM, or in addition to. And you really need to be there if you're not already.